Hi, my name is Bill Reiss. I played Benvolio in the show. I also did all the sets and all the design for the show this year. Well, we had a couple production meetings with Leigh, and she wanted to do something a little different this year. We wanted a bigger forest. We've been experimenting with different forest treatments for years, and we wanted something bigger that people could pop in and out of. And so we had these paractoid columns, which are the three-sided columns that we can reuse for every show. And so we decided to do a treatment of, I chose a more abstract forest, something more black and white, because the show is kind of, all the art for the show is black and white and reds. So we tried something really minimal. So at first it was just sticks in different patterns. And then I decided that that looked a little bit too austere. So we decided to put some leaves on it and make them look more like birch trees. So we ended up with a black and white birch forest, which actually translated really well because we could put them in any formation. It didn't matter what sequence they were in. We could move them around the stage and people could pop in and out of them. And then the way they worked in the show is we had, it started with Romeo and Juliet's paw, and we had just two. And then as you go deeper into the forest for werewolves, we had 3 columns. And then as you went even deeper into the forest for witches, we had 4 columns. So it created this cool sense of progressing in the story using the set. Also in the show this year, we use the crypt every year that Romeo and Juliet lay on, and we wanted to jazz it up this year to sort of up the production value of the whole show. So Daniela and her husband Brent took it upon themselves to redress the crypt, and they came up with this great idea with the stone face, which is just contact paper actually that looks like marble, and then we attached foam decorations to it basically to make it look more luxe. So that was thanks to Daniela. We already had the cauldron from years past, and we already had the tombstones, which I built a couple years ago for Romeo and Juliet. Okay, so we keep throwing around this term perioctoi, and what perioctoi are, I think from the ancient Greek theater tradition of building these 3-sided columns that you can turn to show different scenes. You can put them in different formations. They're very versatile. We can move them around the stage. We can have all 4 with one piece of artwork for one scene, and then we flip them, and then we can have a whole different scene on stage. So it's really economical to do it that way. So we had them built by Heidi, one of our company members, does production on TV commercials, and she has a company she works with who actually donated their time and labor to build these giant columns for us that we can reuse every show. It's a really, really cool thing. And then my job is to create the artwork that goes onto them. So for Cracked last year, we did paintings on canvas that we attached to the sides of the perioctoi. This time we decided that was a little labor intensive to take all the paintings on and off. So this time we decided just to paint directly onto the perioctoi, which worked a lot easier. So in my living room, I just put all the panels against the wall and started painting the forest, and then painting these piles of bones, and it sort of took over my house, but we got them built and they look really good. So for Ravens, we had a lot of discussions about it. We wanted to do something for Act 2. Using the columns, the underworld is very sort of surreal and ghostly, and so we didn't want to do something too concrete, but when we got to the Ravens sequence, I thought that's a real chance for us to show where the Ravens live. And so we went through different ideas of maybe it's a cliffside, or it's a mountaintop, or in their nest. We had that idea too, and then we ended up with this idea that these bones could serve as like the spoils of the Ravens' victims, all stacked in piles really ominously, as thinking kind of Indiana Jones' Temple of Doom. And it could be really scary and work thematically with the whole sweet sorrow look of Halloween and scary and all that stuff. So we ended up with 2 big piles of bones. And if you look closely at the piles of bones, you see different creatures that they have devoured, from humans to bats to deer to a dragon. There's a dragon in there, an alligator. So all kinds of stuff. Simple but effective. That's the thing with dance, is we have to be able to move things. It can't be too cumbersome or take up too much space because we have so many dancers on stage.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.